You're here in Montreal.
Yes.
Yes, we are, yes.
Not playing improv.
No.
Not doing any improv.
No, just here for a visit.
Pas d'impro. Une discussion avec les artisans du spontané. Juste une discussion, pas d'impro. Idée originale de Frédéric Bambouchi, musique Dominique Hamel.
I'm here with Kate Teichman and Tom Vale. So Kate...
Yeah, I am the co-owner of Wage House Improv Comedy Theater in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. I am an improviser, actor, teacher, and do general silliness with sketch comedy.
And Tom?
And I'm a sketch comedy writer and performer and improviser and musician.
Great. I did a podcast with Clayton Michaud for Improv Town. He's got a...
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And he was asking about my reality of improv because the improv we play here is not very well known in the States.
Right.
So I was telling him, it's a whole other ballpark.
Mm-hmm.
So that we play mostly a game called The Match, and it's based on hockey and everything, like I told you when I went to Providence. And now in my podcast, I think you should talk about your reality because it's not very well known here. We know that there is improv in the States. We know about... Some of us know about Second City, I.O., and UCB, and things like that. Mm-hmm. But there are a lot of people here that don't know improv outside of the French language.
Okay.
So you are owner of the Wage House?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I co-own it with my friend Casey Calder-Iso. We started it at the beginning of 2017.
What's the Wage House?
So Wage House is an improv comedy theater
Yeah.
in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. And we're
just outside of Providence.
We're doing classes all year and shows every Friday and sometimes an occasional Saturday or Thursday show as well.
That's a common thing in improv in the States, that there's little theaters where you give classes and then do shows.
Yes.
That's the...
It seems to be the template.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so I actually started doing improv in college just for fun with a group of people. I got my BFA in theater. And
BFA is...
a bachelor's in fine arts.
Okay,
so
yeah.
theater performance is what I was going to school for. And kind of after hours, the theater building would let us use a room to do some improv. So that was how I first started doing improv. And then after school, I went to Chicago and took classes at I.O., at Improv Olympic. And... went through their training program, and then Tom went through Annoyance.
In Chicago.
Yeah, Annoyance was founded by someone who...
Mick Napier.
Mick Napier, who threw the rules away.
Yes,
drew the rule books. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm getting familiar with your history.
Yes. Yeah, and I think Mick has one of those eyes in improv where he sees exactly what the player is doing. He knows exactly what note to give, or he zeroes in on that really quickly, which is something I found you seem to be able to do as well. In the show that we did in Providence, you're able to sort of see the performer, see what is fun that's going on, and ask more of that. He's a really great instructor.
Just so the listeners know, we did Le Dompteur together. When I was at the Providence Improv Festival last September, we played with you and
Jeannie Dunlevy.
Jeannie
and Keith Munslow was our musician.
Yeah, was our musician, and it was great. Yeah, we didn't know each other.
Yeah.
did
I
a
got
show.
to take your workshop.
Yeah.
And then, do the show. Yeah.
You were great.
You were great.
No, but you did you how do you say it? You didn't hold back. That's what I'm always looking for, people who don't hold back, because I want it all.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I was in the audience for
Yeah.
that show, if you don't mind a little bit of flattery.
No, yeah.
It was truly one of the most unique and deeply theatrical improv performances I've ever seen. Certainly at that festival, it was. I was captivated by it, and I've seen. I don't know if you use this phrase for what you do, but directed improv.
Okay. It applies.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I've seen that done before, and it was never a form that really grabbed me until that night, and it was just an absolutely astounding, beautiful, beautiful piece.
Thanks. You were you played at the Providence Improv Fest?
Yes.
And you hosted also?
Yes, and I hosted. Yes.
Yeah, Providence is very small, and so you get to know the players really well. And Tom and I are both involved these past few years in kind of helping the fest run and be put together and sort of clean up, set up, all that good stuff, which is fun. I did some improv in Chicago. And I think what I liked about I.O. was immediately it's like, stop trying to be funny.
Yeah.
You know? And I think as an actor, I gravitate towards that because I'm like, we're just going to make something like this is going to be together and we're collaborating and it's going to feel more like art than it is like, like than making the joke.
Like stand-up or...
Yeah. So... We do more.
We're in a coffee house where they're cleaning dishes right now. So don't mind the noise.
But yeah, I think Tom and I both come from more long form.
Yeah.
Instead of the match style that you're doing, where you're learning a format, and it's all made up, but you sort of know that you're following this form.
Yeah,
for
there
your show.
is a real big structure, mostly in the Arrow. No,
The Herald, yes.
Yeah.
So the Herald is definitely taught at all long-form theaters, I would say, for the most part. There might be a few exceptions at this point, but yeah, certainly I.O. teaches it. It's their signature form, and UCB is also teaching this. Did you learn the Herald at Annoyance?
No, I didn't. I did not at Annoyance, but it definitely seems to be, the Herald definitely seems to be the most predominant form,
grandfather.
and a lot of forms that then individual teams develop are, they come up with different variations on the Herald or extensions of it.
I heard that everybody's playing a version of their an Herald or. Each time you think you found a new format, it's just an Herald played another way. Yeah. Well, it's kind of the same thing here. Sometimes people want to explore outside the match, and they just tweak a little bit of the match, and we'll keep two teams, but there won't be any public victor or only three players, or they change a little bit and they say it's another thing, but it's not really. So you play more long format, but the formats in the States are usually like 25 minutes, 45 minutes?
Well, yeah. So often what happens is you'll see a lot of shows that are multiple acts built, and so and a lot of them are bringing students in to perform. So yes, it's true that a 20 to 30 minute set is very, very common. I know at Wage House and other theaters as well, there have been a lot of people who are really extending that and doing hour-long shows,
yeah,
single
Casey,
performances.
my business partner and I guess one of the perks of starting your own theater is you get to decide what goes on that stage, and you're able to celebrate and bring to life the things that you desire. So when we first opened Wage House, Casey and I performed all the shows for the first 8 weeks as a way to not put another performer in this position. We just opened our doors. We didn't know if anyone would show up. And we thought, we better take this on.
That must have been great.
It was so great.
Yeah.
And we still do our duo together, but we do about 45 minutes together in our show. And for other acts, some people have a form that is more suited to a 15, 25-minute show. But we usually, when we audition people to play at the theater, we take that into account. What is it that you're doing, and does it suit a certain time length? So we definitely leave that door open if someone's doing something longer, to allow them that space to do the show they're wanting to do.
That's because here we usually play like an hour and a half, 2 hour long shows, because it's a match based in there. Sometimes 3 parts or 2 parts, like hockey periods. And I used to do a show with friends called Saint Place, and we did about an hour and a half, 2 hours of just with. It was the format without format.
Yeah.
Just go in and play, and with my company, I said to myself, well, 2 hours is maybe more fun for the improviser than the audience.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I went back to an hour and 15 minutes, and that's like the shortest shows here.
Interesting.
Yeah. So when Tim told me, it's 25 minutes, we can get you 45, I said, okay.
Yeah.
And
for the festival too,
yeah.
I mean, a part of it is
seeing more people.
There are so many acts, so you're a little bit constricted just by the logistics of it all. But back to your original question. Long form definitely seems to be the most predominant form in the States, we also do some short form, some more game-based improv and musical improv. Too. We have a really good core group of people in Providence who have. Like directed improv, I was never that interested in musical improv when I saw it before, until coming to Providence, and the gentleman that we work with, Keith Munslow, who accompanied your performance, he really showed us, I think, what that form could be. He's just so versatile, both as a performer and as a director. So that's another form that has really kind of blown up, at least in Providence.
Yeah, I think too, to your point, 2 hours was too long, but this hour 15 seems to be a good spot. One thing I think we're constantly thinking about at Wage House is the rhythm or tempo of the show. What allows your audience to stay engaged and keeps it interesting. And I think when I worked with you, one thing I was aware of is that you pay attention to tempo, and you are making changes throughout the show to keep it interesting and give it those different levels, which I think if you're in a longer set, you need. If it's just the same thing, you're going to be, bored or check out.
Well, like everywhere in the States, the most common improv is really comedic based.
Indeed. Yes.
So that is maybe set for shorter.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Shorter time.
Yeah.
But let's go back to your origin story. So you did IO.
Yeah.
You did Annoyance. mostly long form, and then you played.
Then we both still did improv in Chicago. We formed a group and played in our neighborhood at a bar, at a pub, which is
its own kind of challenge.
That's common everywhere in the world.
Indeed.
Yeah, exactly. So it was a lot of fun. For me, when I was in Chicago, I was doing much more theater, regular theater. I was working with a playwriting theater company. So I didn't totally immerse myself in improv. It was something I could never let go of. But I couldn't dedicate myself to it in the way that I do now in Rhode Island. But yeah, so I still kept it in my back pocket and was doing it whenever I could, but I was also doing a ton of theater. So yeah, so then moving to Rhode Island, I immediately became a member of Improv Jones, which is the longest running long form team in Rhode Island. And that's the gentleman who runs Improv Jones, Tim Thibodeau. He also runs the Providence Improv Fest. So I joined that team, and then out of there we were realizing, there's no place for people to join a team or learn improv, take classes. So really we got to be a part of that community growing in Providence, which was really exciting.
Yeah, sort of a part of they're becoming a sort of a structure, an infrastructure for improv in Rhode Island, to where now there are a handful of theaters, all of which are doing very different kinds of work, but all of which offer classes and performances, and it's really become
like the Wage House,
including Wage House, and
there's a lot of
there's a few.
There are a couple, there are a few.
Okay.
But what's been most interesting is that around that infrastructure, the improv scene in Rhode Island has become Rhode Island is a very small state, and the interest in improv, both from an audience standpoint and a performer standpoint, has grown to be very disproportionate. It's a very, very lively, vibrant scene at this point, and I think it's really become where people are really reaching for something. They want more out of improv and want to elevate the form.
As they should.
But in a small community, there can be there can be a tendency to just perform for your friends who are in the audience and so on. And within that structure, sometimes just getting a few laughs from them is good enough.
Well, some players do it for that reason.
Sure.
Have fun, see friends, have a beer, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
You have to choose. Is that all right for me, or do I want more? And you look like you want more. And Rhode Island is also and I saw that it was vibrant at the festival. That
good.
I had a lot of fun meeting all this community that I didn't know that were they like when I go to France and play, it's like meeting friends that I didn't know, and the family, and it was the same thing in Rhode Island where I met you and you were we do the same thing. Great.
Oh, that's really good to hear.
Yeah, I think we really want that to be the way the fest feels.
Yes.
And that's my favorite part of improv as well, is that we can all come together in this common thing that we do, and it's really lovely.
And where do you find yourself on the... I don't know. I listen to a lot of podcasts in English, and I try to grasp the there are people who play like for fun and have fun with friends, and there are other who go internationally and give workshops everywhere. I see names like Joe Bill and Jill Bernard and people like that, and then where do you find yourself on that spectrum?
For me, I would love to do more stuff internationally, in other places. But since starting Wage House, I also can't deny that I'm enjoying working with the people right in front of me. And as I teach a lot of classes, and I love teaching, it's just as big a passion for me as performing. And
so you should bring the world to Wage House.
Yes. Yeah. So that's I think we're in the process of growing Wage House, so that's really exciting. So I'm focused a little bit on that, and we've had just great people come through the door to take classes, and I'm always inspired by students and what they're bringing to the table. So there's so much to get out of just that. And then I also do we also do like corporate workshops where we're bringing improv into business settings and working with people. And then I also work with kids and go into more like hospital settings and do improv with kids in there, which is a great distraction for them for whatever else is going on in their world. And it's also a chance for them to play, even though they're maybe in the hospital, which is really nice. So, it's hard for me to choose. I want to do everything, and then my schedule only allows so much, or I get busy with what's in front of me, I guess.
I'd agree. Certainly the desire is there to do more internationally. On the other hand, with running the theater, obviously that takes a lot of the attention as well. So it's more, we definitely want to reach for that opportunity to do more traveling and performing and teaching. It's just a matter of getting the plans in order, I suppose.
But it's so nice, like the festival, obviously I got to meet you and see you, and that again is you get re-inspired all over again. And last year for the first time I went to Improv Utopia, which is a camp, an improv camp. So people come from all over, especially the US, but they also have one that takes place in Ireland now.
I'm going to France to do the WISE. It's a weekend improv scene experience.
Nice.
And they do it's sold out in 30 minutes.
Wow.
And it's this great opportunity for improvisers to come together, learn and hear each other's voices. I love learning from other people. Every time I hear them talk about improv, I say, I know that idea, but you've just explained it better. Or suddenly that clicks with me, or you've taught me something I would have never thought about. So that is something that, as I want to professionally grow myself, that if I don't sort of take myself out of Providence or the people I'm surrounded by, then I'll miss out on that, which I'm aware of. So.
And I know there's maybe not outside of New York, but there's a reality where in New York, if you play improv, there's a chance you might get seen by TV people, and that's a reality that we don't have. Well, we used to have when improv was on TV, people scouting, but not that. It was not as big as SNL or shows like that. Is it only in New York, or?
I suppose if I had to, so what you're describing is certainly outside of our experience in Providence. That doesn't exist in Providence. I would expect, my guess is that probably exists in New York, LA, Chicago, and I would imagine Toronto as well. Other than that, there's certainly I've never come across that awareness among people of thinking they're going to get on stage and be seen, or have people angling for that, except by way of going to say, I'm leaving town and going to New York or something like that.
But did you feel it in Chicago or no?
I don't think either of us view improv in that way. I think, of course, we're aware that some people's careers have been made through improv. You know, the Groundlings Theater has had improvisers there have had a lot of success being discovered. Sure. But I don't think we were after it in that way.
No, well, there's a few people that I don't think that the majority is looking for getting seen.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting. I know, there have been a number of people, say, just from my experience in Chicago at the Annoyance Theater. The Annoyance Theater has produced a number of people who have gone on to, become famous in one way or another. And yet, when I was there, the culture of the Annoyance didn't betray that in the best possible way. It simply wasn't there. People were just about wanting to get on stage and do good work. Which was really, really nice. I can't speak to the experience of people in New York. I've never lived in New York, so I don't know if the opportunity to be discovered affects the culture of improv there. I would hope not. But it definitely seems like, by and large, people just want to get on stage and do good work.
Fun and But when you think somebody tells you that, maybe this guy will come or you maybe have a shot, and then it start to
put you in your head, and then you're not funny at all.
Well, I have the big question of the podcast is, what haven't you done up to now, and that you would like to do in improv in I don't know, maybe next year, 5 years from now, maybe never, but and there is no limits. We have to dream it. So if you say, I would love to play in space, so just say it. But that's my quest in improv. Comment je vais le dire? Salut les gens qui parlent en français. I just said hi to people who speak French. What haven't I done up till now, and I want to do, and each time I ask myself this question, I find new ways to play. So the show I do with 30 people and more, that was an answer to this question. The show that I do, the wordless show that I do, is an answer to this question. And so what is your answer or answers to this question?
So I definitely
you need thinking music? No.
Always. I think for me, the idea of growing Wage House is definitely on the table. I want that theater to continue to grow and be a space that invites people to try new things.
That inspires.
I think that's one of my favorite things, is seeing people I know as an artist, and then we give them a space to create, and they make something they would have never made. We open that door for them. So I'm excited for that, because it's already happened a few times, and the more it happens, the more my heart is happy. And I would like to fail more. I feel like I've reached a place where I'm very comfortable on stage, and so I want to continue to learn and be terrible.
Yeah.
And fall on my face.
I talked about it in a French podcast where failing is the result of something.
Yeah.
And we do this more often than we should in improv, that think about the result instead of thinking about the process.
Yeah.
And if you don't really want to fail, you want to not be chained by success.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think, one of the things that I was thinking about when I was knew that we were going to do this podcast, I think in America sometimes improv can feel formulaic. Mm-hmm. We're doing this form. We know we have to hit these things. Mm-hmm. We're tracking our comedy through these steps.
Really?
Yeah.
That was the thing that really caught my eye when I went to Providence, that it was labeling. We're taught that way. And it can be a roadmap to success. It can be a great way to teach people, because when people open this door for the first time, they're like, how are you doing this? I can't figure it out. And we give them these steps, or there's books that offer these pathways that lead you to a successful scene, a successful show, a common language to think about it with the teammates. Which is great.
That's so great. It uncovers it. It says, here it is, here's all it is, and we can practice this way so that you feel you're gaining some experience and know-how. But then once you know it, you want to throw it out.
Yeah, because
and say, what else? But how
doing it this way? Well, here it's more instinctive, because I started playing at 12 years old, so no labeling, no rules, just going in, doing something. Yeah, it works, great. It doesn't work. Well, I'll do it again, maybe later, and just building my instinct of playing.
Yes.
But as we grow, we're doing the same errors. So we need more labeling.
Yeah, so we need to switch. We need to do...
absolutely.
We need to go to each other's camps.
Yeah.
And I think the reason, as I mentioned, I love theater and I love working on a play, especially with the playwright. It's really interesting where it's about the language, it's about the arc and understanding. And then improv is free. And I think that's what first attracted it to me. And now I feel a little bit like, what's on the other side of this? I want to get back to that sense of play. I want to get back to that dark place where I don't know what's going to happen, and I'm scared of it, but I'm excited by it. So I think that's what's next for me, is I want to direct possibly some shows in this way, or put myself in a show in this way. Maybe I need to direct it first to understand it before I can be in it. I don't know. But I'm a little bit seeking that right now.
Transcending the recipe, the rules. Well, when you know, like cooking, when you know your recipe, you know, I'll put a dash of this more, and then just improvise.
And actually, what Kate just said sort of leads right into what I would most like to do that I haven't done in improv, which is create longer and more deeply theatrical pieces that incorporate improv, and in particular improv comedy. I want to maintain the comedic element, but not be so tied to the laugh every few lines.
Not like sitcom comedy.
Exactly. Yeah, longer, more exploratory pieces that allow for the performers to really sink in and act, and not worry so much about the laughs, and because with a broader range of emotion.
Because it's dramatic improv and funny improv is I think they're more powerful if they're near each other.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. And when you play something real and something there's an event, and laughter comes from surprise.
Yeah.
And then so if you're really into it, everybody understands the universe you're playing in, and then there's something that shatters your universe. That is funny. That is
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think surprise or recognition.
Yeah.
We recognize where this is and we enjoy that.
Yeah.
Or it's shattering.
Yeah.
Susan Messing in Chicago, she's someone that teaches at I.O. and Annoyance, and she's also come to the Providence Improv Fest before. She one time said in a class I was taking with her, improv is either every day at the Johnsons, everyday life, or the day the shit hit the fan.
Yeah.
At the Johnsons. And I think that's really true. It's either, we have this and then we break it, or we have this and we love it because we know it. Yeah.
So you want to do longer, more, less obligated to find punchlines and
and it's interesting because the theater company that Kate worked with in Chicago, Curious Theater Branch, they had such a unique voice. It was a playwriting company, but interestingly, while it was completely scripted, they weren't based in the improv at all, but their stage aesthetic.
It's the power of suggestion.
Yeah, it lent itself very, very well to the improv world, in that it was very minimalist, and really relied on the power of suggestion in terms of props and costuming and stage setting and so on. And they created such brilliant work, and bringing bridging that approach with the improv comedy world that we're both so immersed in. That's something that really, really appeals to me. And again, stretched over longer performances. Getting up, well over an hour, because the performances will have the room to breathe, because there are so many different emotions being brought to the table and so on. Yeah, that really intrigues me.
It's interesting. I've had students. There be a scene that happens in class, and afterwards they'll say, that wasn't very funny. Was it okay? And I'll ask the class, did we enjoy it? Yeah. Okay, it was great. Yeah.
Well, we tend to mix up funny and interesting.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember teaching in Strasbourg, France, and a girl said to me, so if I understand, we don't have to be funny. Just play, just be interesting, or just respond, just react. Yeah,
which is very freeing. I mean, and it is something that especially students, like beginning students, certainly need to learn. When they see improv comedy, they see people being funny, and so when they start, they think they need to be funny.
They want to emulate.
Exactly, but they can get a lot farther, a lot more quickly by letting go of that pressure on themselves. You don't have to be just as Cato, just respond in the moment, respond honestly in the moment.
Yeah, and I think too, there's a concept of improv. You are enough. Your choice is enough. And what you've done, you can trust, but that never feels like enough. Oh, it didn't get a laugh, so I need to do something else.
Yeah. Gotta feed the beast.
Yes.
Yeah. Or I judge myself, so this isn't enough. I'm gonna ditch this idea and try for this.
That's why I loved the format we did, Dontard, because the improviser I direct, they really let go. They say, well, if it's not good, it's his fault. And they point at me.
Yeah.
And when I give commands or the direction, I kind of say to myself, well, I'm not playing it, so that's on their shoulder. So it's kind of a win-win situation.
Yeah, we can all blame each other and therefore have fun.
Whatever. Yesterday I went playing with kids in a school from 13 years old to 16. Mm-hmm. And we did the half an hour show with each of the groups, and the younger one didn't have experience, but they were really playing it like what should my character respond here. So they were great. Mm-hmm. And the more we played with experienced, I'm doing air quotes, players, the more they were saying things that didn't fit in the narrative. Like, we're going shopping. What do you want to buy? I want to buy Kevin. Why? Yeah. Why did you say that? Why do you need to say something that doesn't fit?
Yeah.
Just to do a reaction, and that's looking forward to shattering the reality, but the reality isn't set already.
Right.
So in the U.S., we call it like playing at the top of your intelligence. Yeah. Making the
I heard about it, but
it's making the logical response. How would I respond to this? Even if I'm playing a character, I still need to play at the top of my intelligence.
Even if I'm playing I like to say a galactic gorilla.
Yes.
Yeah. What would that galactic gorilla do?
Yeah. And what do I know of the world that would help me hang my hat here in the audience? We're all trying to see the same thing, so why would we make it more confusing for ourselves and the audience and our scene partner?
And where did this sentence came from? What's the origin point
I don't know the origin.
Play at the
top of your intelligence?
Yeah.
I don't know. I would hate to misattribute it.
I would too.
Is it Del Close?
That's the name that popped in my mind, but it would be a guess.
I actually think it's probably... UCB has put labels and language around so many things that were in the improv world, and for so long, I would actually probably guess them if I had to guess.
Maybe.
Just because they broke things down in a way and said, this is the concept. So you can understand it and read about it and understand it clearly. But I think this idea has been in the improv world
for a long
time, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
usually say play what you understand.
Yeah.
That's very simple and clear. Yeah.
And what is it? Don't improv past your improv?
That's my expression.
What?
I always say don't improv past your improv. People make a choice and then go somewhere new.
Yeah.
And I say, I like that choice. Stay there. Or, you
don't always need to be building something. You can exist in what you've already created.
Yeah, there's a lot there. Let's stay there and find out why you said that or what that meant before you go somewhere new and ditch what you already created.
Well, that's the purpose of the exercise we did when you did my workshop. When I give sticks, because when you don't have the talking sticks, the talking stick, you just you have to focus on the one who has it. But usually the problem is when somebody's speaking in improv, the other one is in his head saying, "What should I do next?
Yeah, what am I gonna say?
What clever thing can I come up with?" Yes.
Let's get on a boat. Yeah. So, what's next for you?
I think continuing to grow Wage House, continuing to give improv to people that aren't improvisers, for whatever they will do with it. I think that's really exciting and fun. I love to work with people that don't think they can do improv.
Yeah, that's great.
It's really fun, and they're usually the best.
Yeah, totally.
And Yeah, and then maybe dipping my toes into this new territory of the unknown for me. Yeah, to step away from form and rules and stuff. Yeah, we also do sketch comedy.
Yes.
We're in a sketch comedy group with Keith.
That's quite common. People of improv doing sketch or writing sketch based on improv.
Yes.
Yeah.
Second City does that a lot for their shows. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Sketch comedy is very near and dear to my heart. But interestingly, writing sketch based on improv is not something I've ever done. No, it's pretty. They're pretty distinct worlds.
Okay.
I think we like to think of improv as its own thing.
Yeah.
Even though it can say like, "Oh, that was really funny."
Absolutely. And we've definitely been in the sketch group that we're in has definitely used improv to sketch as a form. But personally, for me in writing sketches, I've just never done it that way. I always enjoy the actual pen to paper, just sit down and write it.
And I think one thing that feels like next for you is filming more sketch.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Yes. In particular, creating. I'm very interested in creating a longer sketch comedy show that incorporates film elements, not only for the logistical reasons of continuity, while stage is being and costume is being changed, but in some kind of two-way dialogue between what's happening on stage and what's happening on film. I don't know if I can...
You want to do something both on stage and film?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I did something like that here
nice.
a few years ago. Yeah. It was called the feuilleton. How do you say in English? Like TV series or
okay.
Yeah. And it was based on improv, but with a synopsis, narrative structure. And we did scenes when we crossed from stage and go on screen.
I love it.
Wow,
that's
so
Cool.
fantastic.
Yeah, it was great.
That's excellent.
But writing it also could stage and screen is great. The mix is it works. I've seen it.
Nice.
And your theater here is working out of one space, or are you guys moving?
No,
around?
we don't have a space of our own. We play. We move around, but we will be playing in what do you say? A theater. Well, I don't want to say normal theater, but an established theater here called Théâtre aux Écuries, and we'll be in the program next year, doing a show based on scenography. So we'll be exploring heights and stairs and you should come.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know it's only 6 hours away, so I could be here.
But we're working on that right now, and but having our own place would be great. I'm looking for it. Only a little space I could rent and just do my classes there. But now I'm renting a space in other theaters and to do my classes.
Yeah.
So, well, I hope we get what we're looking for.
Indeed, likewise, yes.
Yes.
I hope that you enjoy Montreal.
We're absolutely loving it.
Even though it's raining.
That's okay.
It's fine.
Yeah. Well, we should come back summertime. There's a lot of festivals.
Yes.
Yeah, we would love that.
We would love to come back.
And I hope to work with you again.
Yeah,
sure.
And we're very hopeful that you can make it down to Providence.
I hope so.
This summer.
I hope so. So, do you have something more to say?
I don't.
No, this has been fantastic. It's been really excellent talking with you.
Yeah, for me too. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
d'impro est une présentation des productions de l'Instable, une compagnie de création dont la mission est de présenter des spectacles de théâtre improvisé et de réfléchir sur la création spontanée. Pour plus d'informations sur nos spectacles en salle, nos formations et notre direction artistique, rendez-vous au www.productionsdelinstable.com.